Hi everybody, I'm really excited. The Gatomon's out of the bag. For the last week, I've had the exclusive opportunity to try Digimon Story Time Stranger to create a review for you guys, thanks to BandaiNamcoUS for providing me with the digital Ultimate Edition key. Before we get started, I want to note this is going to be mostly spoiler-free. It's really only going to include content from the first few hours of the game, and I'll have some Digivolution lines, there'll be some champions, some ultimates, some armored Digivolutions. I won't include anything mega and beyond. It's going to stay pretty beginner friendly, so if you're new to the series, or you're somebody coming back in, sit back, relax, we've got a lot to talk about. First-hand experience is always the most important thing. So, fortunately for you, Time Stranger has a demo, and that demo lets you carry data over to the full release of the game should you decide to pick it up. If you're watching this after release, that means you could pick the game up right away. But we did get the demo available to us before the game released, so a lot of us did what we were gonna do. Grind. You can see here, I was very prepared. Now, is this a good idea or a bad idea? Well, let me break it down for people who are new to the Digimon series. If you've played other monster tamers like Pokemon or Dragon Quest monsters, you're no stranger to the way that you're gonna collect various monsters to build your team and fill in the niche that you want. Maybe they look cute, maybe they look cool, maybe you want something that's really powerful or really fast. Really, the world is your burrito. The thing that Digimon brings to the table that makes it unique is that you can Digivolve up and Digivolve down. Meaning that you're not tied to a decision permanently. Maybe you want to make your Agumon into a Greymon, and then bring it back down into Agumon or something else entirely. Well, you can do that. And when you do, some of the stats that you've accrued are going to carry over into your other Digivolution line, and raise the max level that you can then attain. This means that we do not have linear Digivolution paths, and with over 450 Digimon in the game, which is a monstrous amount. That's like going to an ice cream parlor when you just want chocolate and there's 213 flavors. What are you gonna do? That's choice paralysis. Maybe there's too many Digimon. Well, for me, I already know what I like. The Vmon line is my favorite, so that's why I'm gonna be going with all the blue. Maybe you're a Terriermon fan. I know a lot of people love this little gremlin. I juiced one up so it could be my powerhouse in the game, and anytime I had to fall back on him, I was not disappointed. It's also very easy for me to get distracted. I'm going to mention this a few times in the video, but I could talk about all the aspects of Digimon. I get so giddy, I get so excited, it makes me so happy. I'm very jubilant. So I could just ramble on and on and on and on. You could tell when I start speaking faster. I'm just getting very excited. I'm in my own head. I'm thinking about it. You could say I'm not even looking at the camera right now. I'm just visualizing like, oh, dude, I love Raidramon and I love Flamedramon. And oh my god, it was so cool. Do you remember in the anime when Agumon was forced to Digivolve into Skull Greymon and then Tai had to learn a valuable lesson? And oh my god, what is Digimon? I haven't even explained this to you guys. Back up. Before we can get into the game, you need to know what it is that makes Digimon special. Digimon have their own personalities. They speak to one another, they communicate, they have communities, they have a whole digital world. And in Time Stranger, we have the world of Iliad, and we finally get to understand, appreciate, and experience this digital world, which to me is a huge boon over Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, where you just took place in the internet cyberspace. I want to be in the Digiworld. I am happy to be in the Digiworld, and Time Stranger strikes it so well. It's so vibrant, the music fits so well, and you're just always engaged. I felt immersed the whole way through. There's just, between the interactions of the Digimon and their jokes that they have with one another, their quips, it feels like the humans aren't really the main characters in this story, and to me, that's what I wanted, and that's what I got. When there's a Digidestined or a Digimon Tamer or a Digimon Chosen, they have an extremely strong bond with their Digimon. It's not necessarily like other Tamers where it's collect as many as you can and it's all about getting as many as you can. Now, as a player in the game, yes, that's going to be true because you're going to want to have Digimon that give you an advantage. But as far as the lore goes, those bonds, those friendships, being able to overcome odds and circumstances, that is what makes Digimon Digimon. Now I'll give you the TLDR of Time Stranger's combat system before we get into the quality of life changes. There are three main types in Digimon: Vaccine, Virus, and Data. These meet each other in a rock, paper, scissors format. Vaccine will overcome a virus will infect data, and data will conquer a vaccine. There are additional types as well that don't apply under these rules, which you'll discover as you're playing. Attacks will also have attributes that are elemental. These elements are going to have weaknesses and resistances as well. Some of them may even have no effect on the enemy you're attacking. There's a variety of status afflictions, which are specific to Digimon, but the typical flavor: confuse, sleep. There's a crystallization one that makes them all pixely. It's pretty cool. Your team consists of 3 Digimon in your main party, 3 Digimon in your reserve, as well as a few guest Digimon, with Agiomon almost always being present, as they're really the main character of the story. There's a few ways to get stronger in Digimon. First off, you could just grind your experience through battle. Secondly, as you're converting Digimon, you can hold up to 999 of them in your box, in addition to your main party, and as your Digimon level, you can load them into your others. So it's a really good way to meet stat requirements for your Digivolution stages. And obviously, Digivolving. Some Digimon could even DNA Digivolve together to create one super powerful being, or stay at their lower form and use that DNA Digivolve Digimon's attacks in combat if they're in party at the same time. How cool is that? So is Time Stranger grindy? The short answer? Not really. As you enter combat with Digimon, you're going to acquire scan rating. When their scan rating reaches 100, you can convert them to join your party. Now, one really cool thing about Digimon Story Time Stranger is that as you're in combat, you gain experience. Every single Digimon you have in your box, in your reserve, in your party is getting experience. So if a fight would grant you 100 experience and you have 300 Digimon, all 300 of them are going to get that 100 experience each. That means you're getting exponential gains the more Digimon you have. The more Digimon you have, the more experience you can load into your Digimon. So while it might not look like you're gaining many levels, slowly over time, you're going to have a big punch through your stats once you decide to load them in. It's honestly the way I'm playing, and I think it's probably the way it's intended. The other really cool thing is in previous games, if you wanted to get a higher max level, you would have to Digivolve down and then back up to raise the max level cap. Now, when you're loading other Digimon into the ones you want to level, it's granting you additional max level. So, if you're smart about it, you can actually get your Digimon to have a level 99 cap with relative ease. As your Digimon are leveling, they're going to learn abilities. This is pretty normal for most RPGs where you get skills as you're leveling, or magic spells, or movesets. Now, what's different in Digimon is that these moves are completely transferable. All of your Digimon are going to have a unique move that is theirs and theirs alone. Whether they Digivolve up or down, it will change to whatever that new Digimon's move is supposed to be. The additional moves can be equipped and unequipped as discs, and you may want to combine having physical or magical attacks just in case you go up against enemies that are resistant to a certain type. Maybe you want to have a buffer or a dedicated healer, or maybe a debuffer. Maybe you get into combat and you realize that a certain element is really useful on the stage you're on, so now you throw thunder on every Digimon in your party. Or maybe you want to get some fire, so you want to equip fire from your new Greymon and you put that Woken Palm onto your Garurumon. With so much to bring to the table, I'm sure that newcomers to the Digimon series are going to be very happy. Let's talk about the combat speed of battle. If you're a fan of turn-based games, you're no stranger to the speed of combat, sometimes ruining the experience. Maybe things are going a little bit too slow for you. While the animations are really cool, you really want to speed things up, you know? In Time Stranger, you're going to have the options by default to go to 2 times, 3 times, and 5 times speed. If you want to watch the entire animations play out, by all means, put it on 1, 2, or 3. As you're unlocking new Digivolution lines and grinding levels, or maybe you just got access to the ultimate level Digimon and you really want to get those stats, so now you have to go back and grind a little bit. Or you're just trying to work that scan up so you can convert some 200% Digimon. And you know what? It's going to take a little bit longer, so who cares? Set it to 5 times. Now me, I was toggling between them all. I really like seeing the unique animations of attacks and the cross arts that your agent uses, which is like your limit break. It does a number of effects ranging from debuffing the enemies, offensive and defensive capabilities, to giving your party buffs, or maybe you get a heal, or maybe you just deal devastating damage to the opponent. You know though, after you've seen it like 100 times, you're probably going to want to speed that up so that you don't have to see it every single time. Changing the combat speed is not the only quality of life change we have when we're battling. We also have the ability to auto-battle. Your Digimon are intelligent, and they're going to use the moves that are strong against their opponents. So you don't have to worry about putting it on auto battle and they're just gonna like bite the dust. Your agent's not going to use their cross art ability while you're in auto battle, but that's fine, it goes pretty quick. Now those are 2 really good quality of life aspects of a JRPG. That's all, right? No? Well, let me tell you, there's even more. Have you ever been in a battle and you're up against the ropes, and you need to heal, but you don't want to waste your turn because you also need to get an attack in? You might break your opponent, you might take them down, but you might not survive the next attack if you don't heal. Well, in Digimon Storytime, Stranger, you're allowed to use your items and it does not consume your turn for that Digimon. This is such a massive thing for me. I am so happy that I have the ability to use an item. Maybe I want to heal or buff parameters, give me a defense boost. Or maybe I want to change one of my 3 active Digimon to one of my 3 reserve Digimon. I can do that in my turn and it won't consume the turn. You can use items and healing on your reserve Digimon while they're safe in the back line. You could pull them out when you need them. It is so cool to have all of these options. You can change your Digimon and use an item and attack all in one turn with one Digimon. Oh, you couldn't ask for a better situation. Well, actually you could. You could ask to not have to go back to town every time you want to heal, right? That's kind of annoying. Maybe you made it really far in a dungeon and you don't want to go all the way back. There are some in-between theaters, which are your waypoints. They're like your safety zone, where you can go in there, you can tackle outer battles, which are additional side content. You can purchase items at the shop. You can do a number of things there, including heal to full or interact with your Digifarm, which does have some aspects of like the old Digimon World games, and the farm in Cyber Sleuth, where you can train Digimon there and gain their stats. Honestly, I didn't use it too much because the experience gain in Time Stranger was so good that I didn't find myself needing to put any Digimon into the farm. I really wanted to get through the story as well as the Digivolution lines so I could give an informed opinion on these, because that's really what you guys are here for. I'm so happy with this game. I get so giddy and I could jump in all sorts of directions. So if I get a little sidetracked or I start talking about other things, I apologize. Let me go back to talking about the healing quality of combat. If you're beaten up and you are out of combat, you can simply AFK, don't move. And after a little bit, you're going to start healing. You'll regenerate all of your health and your SP. How cool is that? That's such a huge change. I wish every RPG did this. Because yes, I get it. Maybe use consumable items or go to save points to heal. I get it. I understand. But the older I get, the more convenient I want things. So it's really cool if I could just heal out of combat. I don't think it breaks the game or immersion. It's honestly pretty sweet. And if a Digimon falls in combat, they will come back with 1 HP afterwards, so you don't have to really worry about reviving. Now, you do in combat, for sure. But if you're out of combat, I really like this change, because it makes it so it's a lot less arduous. You know what I mean? As you're progressing through the main story, you're going to be given a number of side missions. You don't have to tackle these right away, and they're pretty good about telling you, hey, if you continue here, you're not going to be able to go back and do them, so you should probably clean them up. But I'm going to be honest, I did them right away. They provide a little bit of lore, a little bit of world building, and honestly, they're kind of quick and easy. And completing side missions gives you some of the best rewards, where you accumulate points for your agent skills. This is going to be monumental if you want to digivolve your Digimon, as you require certain agent ranks to be able to access champions and ultimates, megas, armors, etc. Everything revolves around this, and if you do not put the time into side quests, you're really going to struggle later when the game expects you to have certain stages of Digivolution. Now, it might seem arduous, might seem boring, but honestly, I thought the quests were pretty cool. Some of them were really funny, some of them were really quirky, and they have you travel back to areas that really didn't seem like it was that bad to do. It didn't feel like I was backtracking a lot, and when you complete quests, sometimes it just teleports you back to the city, so it's fine. So what does raising your agent rank do? Well, for starters, you get a couple of trees that you could put points into. After you've accumulated so many points, that's when you level up your agent rank. So, I immediately put points into changing my cross art, that limit break ultimate technique where you load the pixel Digimon into your gun and then you started blasting. It's that attack. Now, you can learn all sorts of different ones, offensive, defensive, etc. They're going to be in that main tree. From there, the other trees, I immediately went into the kind of brave, like, main character, this is the Digicrest of Courage line, because I knew I was going to want to digivolve my Agumen and my V-Men. By investing into that tree, it raises the attributes of those Digimon. So now when you see, oh, I need 1080 speed to digivolve, but I only have 400, suddenly, boosting that by 20%, 30%, that really adds up very quickly, and now you're not going to have to grind so hard to reach those stages. Please do your side quests. You will be very happy that you did, and it'll make you getting access to the Digimon that you want even easier. There are parts of the game we were explicitly prohibited from speaking about, so I won't be able to do that today. That being said, I'm both an easy gamer to please and a difficult gamer to please. Sometimes I get really bored if exposition isn't done very well. However, I feel like the story in Time Stranger is my level of energy. It's quirky, it's cheesy, it is the most Digimon that Digimon could be, and honestly I'm here for it. I was laughing at so many of the quests and some of the side options that you don't have to select because they won't necessarily progress the story, but they're options that you can pick to make things funnier. Also, sometimes when you're wearing certain costumes, the Digimon will actually comment on that. Oh, there was one time I was wearing a suit for the agents, and they were like, "Hey, why are you wearing our suit? Don't steal our job. Yeah, I'm gonna let it slide this time." And then the other one was like, "But I asked them to help, please." It was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing. It was so good. Apart from storytelling, which I can't really get too much in on. I mean, I could give spoilers, but I'd rather not. Because on one hand, you should get to experience the story yourself. It is a story-driven game, so it would be rude to spoil it here. And two, we're going to be streaming this game. While it's not going to be my first exposure to the game, it's going to be my first impressions with y'all as my community. And I know people have been really excited to get to experience the game with me, so going through on New Game Plus with the new difficulties unlocked is going to be so cool. And I'll get to put into practice a lot of the things that I learned along the way and try out Digimon that I hadn't tried before. Honestly, there's so many of them that the replayability is there. As far as side content goes, that was really cool too. The outer dungeons are a plethora of amazing content, ranging from tower defense to an actual game, which was kind of cool. I didn't expect it. I'm here for it though, it was great. I don't want to spoil the details. I'd rather y'all get to experience it yourself. And while it's not necessarily a story beat spoiler, it's one of those game modes where the novelty is there. So it's so special. Just trust me when I say I really enjoyed it. And I went out of my way to do them every time I encountered one. Plus, the rewards are going to be Digimon that are granted to you at a pretty high level to give you a good boost. If you've been grinding, it's not really going to help you that much. But if you're somebody who's been kind of speedrunning the story, then yeah, they're going to be a huge boon. How do I feel about the real world? So in Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, I kind of felt like the real world was a little boring and slow-paced. It didn't quite resonate with me the way that I thought it maybe should. With Digimon Story Time Stranger, that's not the case. It feels great. And I think if I had to put a pin on it, I would say that the reason I enjoy it so much is because there are Digimon. They're just doing their thing, they're living, and you get to encounter battles with them, and you get to encounter little stories with them, and help them out. And to me, that's really cool because it helps fuse the relationship between mankind and Digimon, which is ultimately what's going on in this story, where you're finding out that some actions are affecting both worlds, and maybe the bad guys, the Titans, aren't so bad. But history is kind of written by the victors. So to avoid this catastrophe that you see at the beginning of the game, you end up going back in time 8 years and you have to solve this mystery of what you're supposed to do to help and fix things, right? It's kind of crazy. I think it's radical. I don't even know if people say radical anymore. You could tell I'm old. But it is. It's radical. It's awesome. It's so cool. And it's a unique storytelling experience, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. I don't typically like rating games on like a number scale of 1 to 10 because to me, a 10 is absolutely perfect, so nothing will ever be a 10, because then if it is and something else is better than it, then it loses its meaning. And 1 being like the absolute worst, or like a 0 being the absolute worst, but sometimes people will rate things that low anyways. But if I had to, if I had to do it, I would say Digimon Story Time Stranger ranks between an 8.5 and a 9.5 for me, and that's pretty high praise. And the reason I would say that is it is more enjoyable to me than Digimon World 3. Digimon World 1 and Digimon World 3 were my 2 favorite Digimon games I've ever played. I would say it's probably about on par with Digimon World 1. However, because Digimon World 1 was my very first Digimon game, it's always going to have a special space in my heart. So it's hard for me to see that dethroned. But Time Stranger is definitely giving it a run for its money. And it might even be my game of the year. And there have been a lot of good games this year. It's just an all-around good story, good combat, well-paced. I didn't feel like I wanted to skip any dialogue. There were points where I was clicking through if I was reading faster than the voice acting, and I think that's acceptable. The voice acting is great, but sometimes I'm excited to get to the next part. As far as grinding went, it felt really good. There is one part, asterisk, that I didn't like, and I did it to myself. I grinded 20 hours in the demo, and I prepared every champion variant for when I unlocked champions. I then proceeded to spend 4.5 hours digivolving. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly. But what are you gonna do? I mean, I prepared them. I wanted to prep them, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna work out in my favor. And then I'm like, oh. So my advice to you is maybe don't try to grind them all out at once unless you have the tolerance for that and you have the ability to withstand that kind of menial task. For me, I couldn't. I ended up getting upset with myself. I love the game, and that was a personal thing I did that I was like, wow, that was actually not fun. I'm not doing that again. So then I proceeded to play the game Digivolving as I had them, as I unlocked things. Once I unlocked new forms, it was like, okay, I'll pick a couple of my main cast and I'll work with them. Let's get these guys up to champion. Let's get these guys up to ultimate, and then go from there. Ultimately, I'm happy that there are many choices and paths that you can take to get the Digimon you want on your team. I'm also really happy anytime I get to have Raidramon on my team, which I understand is Lightramon and that Raidramon is an Appmon, but I'm always going to know him as Raidramon because of Digimon Adventure 2. Hopefully you enjoyed my review. This is the first time I've ever gotten to do a review before a game's released. Sometimes I've gotten to do covers after or short previews at events, but I've never gotten to have a full release of a game and just sit down and digest it and just completely absorb that media. For it to be Digimon was an absolute dream come true. I'm so thankful. I couldn't thank Bandai Namco US enough. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity. It means the world to me, and I hope that I've done a little bit of justice here. I'm just a dude sharing my thoughts. Hopefully they've resonated with you. Hopefully you pick the game up. Hopefully you enjoy it. Please let me know if you are going to be picking up Digimon Storytime Stranger. Which Digimon are you going to be having in your party? Who are you hunting down? Which paths are you going for? I would love to hear it. That's all from me. Catch you next time.